Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're bringing you another top 10 list. And this is the top 10 games we want to play. And take that top 10 with a grain of salt. There's like hundreds of games we want to play.
Yeah, there is, just thousands and thousands and thousands of games out there. And so many of them sound so cool.
Yeah.
But these are the 10 absolute ones that we would, if we saw it out, run to that table and play it because we were that much intrigued by these games for whatever reason.
Yeah, and so we've been starting to cover the new releases for like the past 6 months or whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
I personally am not putting any of those on there because they all seemed exciting to me. So I was looking for anything like 2019 and older.
My list is a little more all over the place. Some new, some old.
Yeah.
It all sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start. My number 10 is Targi.
Definitely one of those two.
Yes. So this is a game that I've heard of a lot. I've seen a cover of a lot, and I never really saw anything of it. But recently, I was told how the gameplay works. And I was like, color me intrigued. And now I really want to play it. And it's a 2-player game. Guess what is the number count of games that I play the most?
Two.
2-player
games.
Yeah. So I'm really interested in that.
All right, so my number 10 is Scoville. All right, so for one thing, I just love the theme, this quirky kind of pepper village or whatever, but also the play on words, right? Scoville, like a town, but also the Scoville scale of how hot a pepper is. For that reason alone, it just makes me interested in it. But then also on top of that, one of my friends from one of our game groups was suggested that we play this just a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't. It's on my list of games that I want to play.
Just created the list. Was it that day?
Yeah. He didn't have it with him, so it wasn't like I was actually turning it down. But it was like, I'll play it eventually, but give me 2 days. Wait till I make my list, and then we can play it.
What are the chances? So speaking of games that Ryan has recently played, my number 9 that I want to play is Viticulture.
Yeah.
This is also one that I've never heard anybody harp on it. I've only heard good things from it, and I almost feel like it's too late now. There's too many expansions and stuff. It's too late to dip my toes in that water. There's too much going on. But
there's the Essential Edition, which is all the best of the best.
Yeah, the best of the expansions. Yes. So I do still want to play it. And if it's set up, like Ryan said, I would definitely sit down and be like, teach it to me, please.
All right, so my number 9 is Raptor. This is a game all about these hunters and these raptors, and there's raptor babies, and there's a raptor mom, and so it's a 2-player game. One side's the raptors, one side's the hunter, and you are just basically chasing each other. It's kind of game of cat and mouse. Yeah. It sounds really interesting to me. And also, anecdotally, I don't know if this is 100% true, but I heard this is originally designed as a Lord of the Rings or a Hobbit-themed game, and they'd kind of
like Bilbo and the spiders when they get stuck or something. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's 100% true, but if there's that cool background story as well, I'm interested in that. But the gameplay itself just sounds great. It's got some good pedigree, 2 good designers. So yeah, I'd like to play it. It's also a 2-player game.
If you know that, could you let us know in the comments below?
Yeah, confirm that story or deny that story.
Just make Ryan feel good. Confirm the story.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Okay. So my number 8 is Santorini. And this is one of the bane of my board gaming existence life, right? This is when Toys R Us was closing, and we went in there.
R.I.P. Toys R Us.
R.I.P. Toys R Us. And we were picking up all these games that were clearanced. And one of the great ones we got was Go-Go Gelato. We've had so much fun with that with our girls. But I saw this there. It's $5. And I don't bring it home, right? I don't know what possessed me to not bring it home. And then for the past years, all I hear is people talk about how great Santorini is. I've seen pictures of it, and it looks awesome on the table. And now there's a second one, based in New York. And I'm like, oh, Bethany, why did you do this? So now I need to play it so I can maybe think it's horrible so I won't feel bad, but actually it's going to be great. I'll be like, why didn't I do that? Yeah.
All right, so my number 8 is Wallenstein. I really don't know a ton about this game from a gameplay standpoint. I know 2 things about it. It's a 2nd edition, which means it was good enough to have people have bought it, and then they made it again. Yeah. And then the second thing I know about it is that it has a sweet cube tower. I am a sucker for cube towers. They just look really impressive on the table. They have an interesting mechanism that not a lot of games do. And so I really want to see with this one. From what I understand, it's maybe the first or maybe second game that I know of that used a cube tower. So I would love to see how they used it. It's super compelling to me.
My number 7 is Dungeon Petz. My brother tells me that he thinks I would like this game. Ryan's not sold on that idea.
Yeah, I've played it, and I don't know if it's your jam.
Yeah, Ryan knows like the threshold of complexity that I enjoy. Not that I can play that, it's just what I enjoy. But Dungeon Petz, like the theme might carry me through the complexity. Like that's why I want to play this game, because the idea behind this is just wonderful, and I'm on board for that.
Yeah, this is a heavier one. I mean, it's a Vlada Cheval game. It's this really cutesy theme and this really complex, crunchy gameplay. But they feel like they're juxtaposed, but it actually works out pretty well. So you might like it. I hope you do, because I like it too. All right, so my number 7 is Age of Steam. All aboard! I love train games. I love those kind of older, heavier, crunchy train games. Lots of stock markets and route building and pick up and deliver and all that kind of stuff. Silverton's one of my favorite games. I love 18xx games. Not that I play a lot of them. Let's be real, because
time.
But we don't own any of them either, which makes it hard.
Time.
And time. So this is one of those ones that is kind of like one of those classic train games that features a lot of those elements that I really love. But it's a hole in my train gaming career. It's just one I've never played or never seen set up or whatever. So I would love to get a chance to play this one.
All right, my number 6 is Potion Explosion. This is also one I actually don't know that much about, but I've heard it. When I see pictures of it, it looks really fun. And I've heard it described as those like Candy Crush type games, right? Which are super addictive and bright and colorful. And obviously people like them. And that's the reason why, they ignore their family to play this thing. So I want to see the board game implementation of that.
Yeah. There's no sound effects unless you make them yourself. Boop, beep, beep, boop.
I would. Yeah,
I know that you would.
It would be great. Now I want to play it even more so I can come up with my own sound effects for Potion Explosion. Make it happen.
All right, my number 6, this is War of the Ring. This is basically, from what I understand, the Lord of the Rings in a box. You've got Frodo doing his thing, and Sam and Gollum all going over the Mount...
War of the Ring. You can't see it. It's not showing up. It's the One Ring. It was an anniversary present. Okay, sorry.
Yes, she is the one wife to rule them all. But yeah, basically, they're doing their own thing. They're taking the ring to Mount Doom, but everybody else in this big epic battle that we know, this is the War of the Ring. There's all the good guys. There's the armies of Sauron and Saruman and all this stuff going on. From what I understand, it's pretty involved. It takes a little while, and it's not cheap, which is why I have not ever really kind of sought it out, other than just out of interest,
The bane of all gamers' existence.
Money.
And time. Money and time.
So I would love to play War of the Ring. I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and I think that would be a blast.
My number 5 is the Grimm Forest, and this is another one where I just see it pop up all the time, and I'm like, yes, that one. That's the one I want. I want that one. But I've never had a chance to play it. I've never had a chance to explore it, and I really want to.
It looks so good.
Right? It totally does, which is why every single time I see it, I'm like, that one. That's the one. I want to play that one. It'll happen one day. It'll happen.
All right, my number 5. So usually what happens with a game is a game comes out and then it does pretty well. Then what they end up doing is they make some kind of a dice version of it or a card version of it, a streamlined version of that game that ends up being pretty good. And it gives you that feel, that first game, that bigger game in a faster, reduced package or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All right, so... we played a game. This is one of the first roll and write games that I ever really, really dug. Yeah. And it was called Rolled West.
It might be the first one you liked ever.
Yeah,
actually. I think you said that in our review.
Yeah. It was the one that made me think, like, hey, there's something about this roll and write fad that's going on right now. Yeah. As opposed to just, some of the other Yahtzee clones that I've seen out there before. So Gold West, then, is the bigger game of Rolled West. I had never played Gold West, but Rolled West was so much fun that it made me actually want to play the original grandfather game, which apparently is I'm saying this word a lot, but it's more complex, it's more involved, and I don't see it ever just like sitting on, a lot of people playing it. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe it's just because it's older, maybe it's because it's, I don't know why. But if I ever see it out on the table or on sale somewhere, I'm totally picking it up because Rolled West was the blast. Gold West sounds like it's going to be fun too.
Yeah. So my number 4 is another one that just like hurts my heart a little bit because I am a huge fan of Lock and Key, the graphic novel series. No, I have not, and no, I will not watch the TV series. Ironically, I don't really like horror stuff. But the graphic novel is like, that series is amongst one of my all-time favorite stories. It was brilliant. So I really got into looking out for games for myself that I wanted in like 2013, right? I think, is that when we got Love Letter?
Yeah.
When I was like, I want that one. And so that's when I started like searching things out, the stuff that I wanted. This game came out in 2012, and that is Lock and Key, the game, Cryptozoic card drafting or card deck building game. And I'm just so upset with myself that I couldn't have like pushed or that could have been like a year later, or this could have been like a year earlier, and it would have come at the same time to where I've been like that one, and it didn't happen, and now it's never gonna happen.
Maybe we could come stumble upon it someplace, some crazy sale somewhere.
Hopefully.
All right, so my number 4 is Nidavellir. I love the kind of the Norse mythology tie-in with this game, but also it has just the box art just looks really, really cool, really captivating, really intriguing. But also the gameplay, I don't know a ton about it. I know that you're drafting these dwarves and all have special abilities, kind of making this dwarf army, which sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I don't know a ton about it, but what I do know knocks my socks off.
Knock your socks off. My number 3 is Ryan doesn't wear socks. That's why it's funny. Okay, like he is like sandals until there's ice. Snow he can do sandals with. Like knocks the socks off.
Yeah, unless I'm like going to a business event or something like that.
This is your business event.
Right now it is, but previously. Or a convention or something where I need to walk a lot.
Yeah.
Whew, gotta wear those tennis shoes, everybody.
Yeah. So my number 3 is King's Dilemma. And I remember this was on our list of things that we wanted to get at Gen Con 2019, and we couldn't find it.
We looked high and low.
We really did.
Combed the aisles.
Yeah. And we're looking at so it says it's through why can't...
It was either sold out or it was, I don't know. We were looking at the wrong vendor.
Other people had bought it, so it was obviously there. So we have friends of ours who got it, right? So we're like, yes. And those friends of ours moved away. Pooh. And
then
now,
COVID, of course.
Yeah. And now there's even a sequel coming out, The Queen's Dilemma. I'm like, but I haven't even started The King's Dilemma. How can you give me the Queen's Dilemma? There's too many dilemmas. And so this is just like, and I know it's a campaign style game, so like,
it would dedicate some plays.
It would have to be like set like that, but I really want to.
All right, my number 3, I had mentioned that I was kind of warming up to more roll and writes. So Hadrian's Wall is, from what I understand, a very, very heavy, very complex roll and write, which sounds awesome to me. Like I looked at the back of the box and there's like all these spreadsheet-looking sheets, which some people that might turn them off. That really excites me. I love that spreadsheety, mathy stuff.
So like he really does. The other day he was telling me about Excel, and I can't remember, like something can export, like some trivia, I can't remember, but something can export to Excel and do something for you. And he was getting giddy. He was getting downright giddy about like what Excel can do, and I'm just like,
what can't it do? There's nothing it can't do.
Oh my gosh.
It is the best.
He's being serious when he says this. This isn't a bit. Like, he really does. Like, seeing that and thinking it looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that what I have been why I've been shying away from roll and writes is they just haven't, they've been fairly shallow. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? There's a lot of fun to be had in a quick, simple game.
Yeah.
But also the idea of using that mechanism on a thinkier platform really excites me. So Hadrian's Wall, my number 3.
My number 2 is Ex Libris, and it doesn't even matter really what this gameplay is because it's just about books and libraries, and that's always a selling point for me. Luckily, the artwork is wonderful. See, I'm wearing a work shirt right now. See, I dig the library theme, just in case you didn't figure that out. But the artwork of this looks really cool, and the gameplay looks cool as well, and I just like it whenever I see it, and I want to play it really, really bad, and this is why it's my number 2, is because I think about this one quite a bit.
I can probably whip that up Maybe an anniversary present or something like that.
Yes. Well, I have a different idea for an anniversary present.
Oh, okay. Well, my number 2, Ghost Stories. Not a good anniversary present. But Ghost Stories, we love super hard cooperative games. And this, from what I understand, is a pretty hard one. Whatever time we play co-op, we ramp it up all the way to the difficulty. We know we're going to lose. That's part of the challenge, because when that win finally comes, it is oh so satisfying. So from what I understand, with Ghost Stories, from what I understand, you don't have to ramp up the difficulty. It just is super difficult. Like, you're not going to win this game your first time or your 10th time. You're going to have to pay a ton of times before you get that first win under your belt. And that sounds really defeating, but also really, really interesting to us. We want to solve that puzzle.
Yeah.
So Ghost Stories is my number 2.
So speaking of anniversaries, my number 1... Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You're my number 1.
Oh, God.
Our anniversary is in like a couple of weeks.
It is, yeah.
We're being silly.
So my number 1, besides Ryan, of course, is Lord of the Rings: Journeys in Middle-earth.
We like those Lord of the Rings games.
We really do. I have the One Ring as an anniversary present. We're kind of fans. Anyway, I really want to play this game. It was at a gaming thing that we hosted like 3 years ago.
A convention. It's called the convention, everybody. NumiCon 2019. It was a thing, and it was epic.
It was pretty awesome. But I heard people playing this, and it just sounded so much... Yeah, he's part of people, and it just sounded so much fun. And it was one of those games to where it had an app with it, and what the app did was it made it so the players didn't have to do any bookkeeping. They could just play the game. And I love that, and I wanted to be involved in this, and I wanted to explore this game, and it just hasn't happened. We have an anniversary coming up.
Yeah, plus, it gives you that Mansions of Madness vibe, but not in a horror theme. It gives you it in a fantasy theme.
Yeah.
So it's, it gives all that excitement within, but still not necessarily spooky.
Yeah.
My number 1 is Bonfire. There is 2 things you need to know about this game. It is by Stefan Feld, who is my favorite designer.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it yet.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yep.
Therefore, it's on the list. And it's the number 1. I need to play it.
Yep.
So I've played, every Feld game pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for, maybe 1 or 2.
That we kickstarted. It doesn't matter. They will get played.
Right. So, Bonfire, I'm very excited to see this one. When it first came out, a lot of people were talking about it. The box art looks cool. It's still very, very new, in my opinion, compared to a lot of other Felds. And I would love to round out my Feld collection with Bonfire.
Our Feld collection.
That's true. Our Feld collection.
Our Feld collection. Well, everybody, we want to know, have you played any of these games? What are your thoughts on those games? Are there any games that are on your want-to-play list that you're just desperate to get to the table? We want to know. Let us know in the comments below. Until then, you can always subscribe to us. You can see our videos as they come out. You can find us on Facebook. We're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan and Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. Lost my voice there. And we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.